Merry Christmas Eve and welcome out to Gillette Stadium. Courtney Cox, Doug Kide, and Zach Cox here as the Pats get ready to take on the Bills. Merry Christmas Eve, you guys.
Thank you. Merry Christmas Eve.
We're all in
to
our
you
pea coats and our Christmas vests.
Yes.
Very festive.
Yes.
Very festive. But the Pats coming off a crazy win out in Pittsburgh. You guys were there. I was very jealous. But now we have the Bills. Some not so great news as we look at this one. We've got James White, we've got Chris Hogan not expected to play. We've also got Nate Soldier, who was added to the injury report late last night. What does this mean going into this game?
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I was not expecting James White to be inactive for this game because he suffered the ankle injury last week, then returned to that game. So they might just be, sitting him as a precautionary measure in this game. But that means a whole lot of Dion Lewis, a whole lot of Mike Gillislee. And I'll tackle the running backs. I'll let you get into Soldier a little bit first. But this is interesting on the running back side because the Patriots have wanted to limit Dion Lewis's carries this season. The most touches he's received in a game is 19, so he hasn't been that 20, 30 carry guy. Patriots have to replace White as the third down back, so I think that Dion Lewis might actually play that normal third down back that James White and Rex Burkhead have played this season, and that could mean a whole lot of Mike Gillislee on early downs, on first and second down, in goal line situations. So seems like there will be quite a big shakeup there at running back. The Patriots were very deep in that position coming into the year, and it's kind of paying off here with two guys out with injuries.
Yeah, Mike Gillislee, obviously a guy who hasn't played now in 6 weeks. This will be his first game today since October 29th, I believe. So basically 2 months on the shelf for him. It'll be interesting to see how he kind of gets back into the lineup against his former team out here. And then, yeah, on the offensive line, if Nate Soldier can't play in this game, that's going to be a very big detriment to this offensive line, which already is playing without starting right tackle Marcus Cannon. He's out for the season. He's on IR. So you could be looking at a starting tackle duo of Cameron Fleming and Ladrian Waddle. And Ladrian Waddle is also questionable for this game. He's played in the last 2 weeks, but barely. I mean, he's been active. I think he's only played about 9 or 10 snaps over those 2 games. Cameron Fleming has really taken over as that number one right tackle with Marcus Cannon out, which I'm not sure if it's totally merit based or if it's because Ladrian Waddle played pretty well during his time as Cannon's replacement. So I'm thinking that he still might not be quite 100%. But beyond that, they might have to get creative in here if Waddle isn't 100% and Soldier can't play. You might see some Cole Croston in there, who's a rookie we really haven't seen at all outside of garbage time this season. I think he only has, 15 snaps to his...
8, I believe.
8 snaps in his NFL career. Yeah. You could even see something where Joe Thuney moves out to tackle and Ted Karras slips in that left guard spot. Thuney's played every game for the Patriots since he came into the league last year. Hasn't played at all at tackle, so that's really kind of mixing up the entire thing. So I'm sure the Patriots are really hoping that Nate Soldier can play in this game. But when you see a guy added to the injury report that late, I mean, they sent out the word at 11 o'clock last night. That's really not a good sign for a player, especially since he's dealing with an illness, not an injury. So we'll see. The inactives will be out in a couple minutes. So we'll see if he is playing or not. But if he's not, it's definitely a big negative for this Patriots team.
Yeah, the Patriots might have to decide if they get down to the situation where Soldier can't play because of the illness and if Waddle isn't 100% because of that ankle injury, they might basically just have to decide if they would rather have Thuney play out of position or use Cole Croston. And if they did play Thuney out of position, then that would mean Ted Karras would play at left guard. Thuney did play left tackle at NC State, which is why we're even mentioning this as a possibility. But I don't think I've seen him play a single snap at tackle, even in practice, throughout his Patriots career.
Yeah, he's basically been the left guard since the first day he came to Foxborough last year, so he really hasn't moved from that spot.
All right, let's talk about Bills and Pats. Weird season. We've talked about it a few times now. The Pats just saw the Bills a few weeks ago. They were out in Buffalo. They won that 23-3. Is there anything that they can take from that matchup tonight, or today, I guess, 1 o'clock game, to see, make it better, make it a better game for them? Obviously, they came out victorious in that one and did so with a large margin, but can they do anything better this time around?
Well, yeah, one thing I'm looking at is whether they're going to have Kyle Van Noy back for this game, because the defense has really struggled with him out. I mean, they've allowed 27 points and 24 points in the 2 games that since Kyle Van Noy hasn't been in there. Van Noy played very sparingly in that first Bills game. I believe he only played 10 snaps. It's kind of a bad idea for the Patriots to play him in that game because he was limited, and then he ends up kind of aggravating that injury he had. He ends up being out the next two weeks. I think if he's back, their defense could be even better. better. Obviously, the defense only allowed 3 points in that game, but they were kind of gashed by LaShawn McCoy a lot in that game. So that's definitely what I'm going to be looking for here.
Yeah, I think that you just want to see an improvement out of the defense in general this week, because they haven't looked quite as strong over the last couple of weeks. And like you said, LaShawn McCoy did kind of gash them in that game. They only let up 3 points. They were very good in the red zone, but just overall, I think that you want to see a better defensive performance out of the Patriots before they head into the playoffs, because they can only go as far as their defense can take them, and their offense has been pretty high-powered as of late. But obviously with the injuries that are there, there's some question marks on offense as well. So I will say that with the Van Noy thing that you were mentioning, Patriots have kind of rushed guys back from injuries a little bit this season, which has been a little weird. It hasn't gone well for them so far. Chris Hogan isn't playing in this game because they did rush him back with that shoulder injury. Kyle Van Noy's missed a couple of weeks now because they rushed him back from that calf injury. And you've seen that a couple more times this season with, Waddle being rushed back a little bit. Marcus Cannon was rushed back a little bit. It's kind of a continuing trend here for the Patriots.
Yeah, and you think that could be why they might be deciding to hold James White out of this game. If he's a little banged up at all, maybe they've seen the kind of missteps that they made already this season. Maybe they don't want to make that any worse.
All right, well, Bill's coming back with vengeance for more than just the score on the board. I think all eyes today are going to be on Rob Gronkowski. He's facing off against Tre'Davious White. Obviously, everybody knows the storyline there. He had kind of a not great hit on him. Was suspended for a game. We saw the outcome of that, not good for the Pats. Do you think that there's going to be some, trash talk out there, or do you think that people are going to be aiming for Gronk?
I don't know if they really can afford to, because the Bills are fighting for a playoff spot right now. So if they do anything stupid in this game and they lose it, and then that player's gone for the Week 17 matchup against the Dolphins, then that's really just hurting themselves.
Right.
The Patriots already got their comeuppance for Gronkowski's hit. He was lost for a game for a suspension. The Patriots lost that game against the Dolphins in Miami. So I don't know. I think that the smart move for the Bills is to do nothing, is to kind of take the
high road.
The high road or whatever it is.
There's going to be emotion there.
Obviously, there's going to be emotion, certainly. I wouldn't be shocked to see something. Richie Incognito even hinted that something could happen in this game, but, that might just be a threat. That might be just to keep Rob Gronkowski on his toes in this matchup.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit wary if this game gets out of hand, if the Patriots take a 3-touchdown lead in the second half and they continue to have Rob Gronkowski out there and throwing to him as they were in that first matchup, then I would get a little wary. I know Rob Gronkowski's going to want to stay in this game the entire time because he has those contract incentives that he still has yet to hit. Yeah. But if I'm the Patriots, I'm going to be careful with him. I wouldn't limit him at all in the overall game plan, but if it seems like the game is in hand, I think they'd be smart to kind of at least either take him out of this game or at least just have him in kind of run blocking and stuff like that. I don't think they should really push it with him.
Yeah, this is an interesting game for Gronk for a number of reasons. Like you mentioned, the incentives. He needs 16 catches over the last 2 games, or almost 200 yards, or the All-Pro nod. So these next 2 games are going to be important for him to earn that extra $2.5 million on his contract that was built in with
just
incentives.
$2.5 million, guys.
Yeah, it's nothing.
No.
I'll take like a fraction of that
right,
if he wants. Yeah.
All right, well, you talk about the Bills looking forward to the playoffs. They haven't seen postseason run since 1999.
Music City Miracle.
Unreal. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. It's like the longest North American.
It's the longest active streak in North American pro sports right now.
Yeah. So
those were the Flutie Rob Johnson days?
Yes.
Go
I
Eagles,
believe Flutie
right?
started that game in Tennessee.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you look at both of the teams, obviously the the Patriots, I'm thinking about tomorrow.
Yeah.
The Patriots are kind of cruising into the postseason. So you want to say the Bills have more on the line when you look at this one?
Yes, but the Patriots are still fighting for that number 1 seed. I know it's funny to think about it if you're a Bills fan watching this. They're fighting for their lives to just get a playoff spot, and the Patriots are thinking about the number 1 seed. But the number 1 seed is important because that's the bye, that's home field advantage, and a lot of things could still happen this season. The Patriots have not clinched the bye yet. They have not clinched that number 1 or number 2 seed. They are still fending off the Steelers and the Jaguars, so they really do kind of need to win these next 2 games. These next 2 games are very important for them, so there's a lot on the line for both teams, and I would say that the Patriots probably have obviously the much better shot at actually winning the Super Bowl or making the Super Bowl. So it could be argued that the Patriots have just as much, if not more, on the line because of their upside this season.
Yeah, all Patriots fans know what happened in 2015 when the team kind of went in the tank, didn't really care about getting that number 1 seed. They end up going on to lose in Denver. So I think they definitely want to lock down that number 1 seed, which they can do as early as this weekend. If they win and both the Steelers and the Jaguars lose this weekend, then the Patriots are the number 1 seed. If only the Steelers lose, lose and the Patriots win, then they lock up at least a first-round bye. I'm not expecting both of those teams to lose this weekend because they're playing some, or at least the Steelers, I believe, are playing the Texans, who have been pretty trash for the last 2 months or so.
Yes.
Jaguars are playing Jimmy G, which should be an exciting matchup.
Be, yeah.
But yeah, I think the Patriots really just want to keep the pedal down, especially with the loss in Miami a couple weeks ago. They want to keep this momentum going.
All right, so final thoughts on this matchup. Are the Pats fans going to get a Christmas present early, or are Bills fans going to get kind of a Christmas miracle? Jekyll and Hyde team, but we saw what happened last time.
I'm going with the former. I think Patriots fans will get their Christmas present early in this one. The Bills have not had a lot of success in this building. Obviously, those are different teams, different coaches, different everything. But the Patriots are pretty formidable against the Bills here at Gillette Stadium, and I don't see that going any differently. Just as a side, I see someone in a Nate Solder jersey right now in the crowd, and you don't see enough offensive lineman jerseys out there.
Yeah, best jersey I've seen all season was the guy in Cleveland with the Nick Kazier jersey.
Ooh, Nick Kazier jersey.
Throwback.
So, yeah.
But yeah, Bills have won here twice during the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady era. One of the games was the Jacoby Brissett game last year. The other game was a Week 17 game where Tom Brady only played one half. So they've never really beaten a full-strength Patriots team in this building. I do think they'll cover in this game. I think the line is something like 12 right now. I think it'll be a close-ish game, but I'm definitely picking the Patriots to win this one.
All right, well, for all those fans that are heading into Gillette, it's a nice day. Doesn't feel like Christmas Eve. A little chilly once you're holding a mic, but other than that, you'll be pretty comfortable. But thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions or if you want to follow along during the game, at Zach Cox Nesson, at Doug Kite, or at Cox Courtney, we will have you covered. We'll talk to you after the game. Enjoy. Merry Christmas Eve. Happy holidays. And we'll see you again on New Year's Eve.
Yes,
right here. Thanks.